This year will look very different to last year. Perhaps the biggest question though is, will Ireland change the way they play the game? Do they look to regroup and try a different approach after their World Cup failure? Or do Andy Farrell's men continue playing their risky, edge-of-your-seat brand of rugby? And exactly who fills the shoes for a departing Johnny Sexton? Well, the jury's out, and Irish fans want Jack Crowley given the first crack at the number 10 jersey. And my personal opinion on their playstyle is same game plan with a new chief in charge. To be honest, I expect any Irish fly half to go well. When you have a centre pairing as damaging as Bundy Archie and Gary Ringrose, Hugo Keenan out the back, and a forward pack that's willing to outwork any other side, it doesn't get any better. Coach Andy Farrell's off for a sabbatical in 2025 for the British and Irish Lions, so I think it'll be much of the same from Ireland, until their new 10 settled in. Besides the question marks over fly half, they're coming in with one of the most established squads into the Six Nations. Something that really is dividing rugby fans though is, who walks away with the Calcutta Cup this weekend? Essentially, will Scotland nail it or shit the bed? Before the World Cup, 90% of people would have called this a walkover for Scotland. That wasn't until England finished third, they started to show that Steve Borthwick style of rugby, being able to hang in the contest and play the percentages. During the World Cup, Scotland really struggled to score points against countries in that top echelon, most notably the Springboks, where they were only able to score 3 points in 80 minutes. But will Finn Russell and Gregor Townsend's new love affair elevate their game into that top echelon? His ability to open up a game and have every trick up his sleeve gives the feeling that they really can beat anyone on their day. His form and confidence at the moment is at all-time highs, and there's some great chemistry forming with Huey Pilotu. Blair Kinghorn will be stamping his mark at fullback. We say it every year, don't we? Don't sleep on Scotland, they're the dark horses for the competition. I think the main thing for the Scots is to stay healthy. Their squad really lacks a bit of depth compared to the other teams, and it's fundamental for them to go a long way. There's just something about England at the moment that feels so right. Naming that big sexy unit, Jamie George as captain, it's got to go well, doesn't it? They will be without Owen Farrell, which will create a really interesting dynamic for the English side. And where's Marcus Smith play? And will Emmanuel Faye-Waboso get a chance to wreak havoc out wide? The Calcutta Cup result will tell us a lot about how these teams are shaping up post-World Cup. Moving on to Wales. After having a relatively decent World Cup campaign, before you bag me out in the comment section for that statement, just remember I am Australian. How does Warren Gatland get them out of this mess? The mess being a host of stars retiring, bulk injuries, the NFL stealing one of their brightest talents, and captain Jack Morgan out. I'll be blunt, it really does look like they'll be duking it out for the wooden spoon. It'll be really interesting to see though just how far Gatland can take this team in his 17th Six Nations. Is talent really everything in rugby? If Wales have a good campaign, we'll see just how important chemistry is. With the fly half merry-go-round plaguing most of the other teams at the moment, huge personnel changes, France's depth has never been so valuable. Not having Anton Dupont though, not ideal. My question to you though is, what makes everyone so confident France will win this thing? Is it because they'll be out for blood after their disappointing home World Cup, or the fact they take on Ireland at home in the opening round? But if Sexton and Dupont cancel each other out in terms of losses to the sides, then what's going to make the difference? Part of me thinks France wins this one because their playstyle's much more likely to come together in the opening rounds. It heavily relies on the kicking accuracy of a couple of players, where Ireland depend on constant cohesion with bodies in motion. France probably have the upper hand at set piece time, and given it's the first match of the year, things are just going to be a bit scrappier, which will play into their hands. Now, a really important question. Did Monty Ioane find any more body space to put a tattoo? They're shining lights for the Azzurri, Garbisi, Capuzzo, and their locks and loosies who are super consistent around the park. It'll be interesting to see if new coach Gonzalo Quesada can find the next big lift from the Italians. On paper, they could definitely cause an upset, but there's a lot of unknowns about how they'll go about their business with the change. My predictions are France to win this thing, Ireland to come second but probably be the best team after the first round, England to come third after upsetting Scotland, who'll finish fourth, which leaves me with Wales in fifth and the Italians in sixth. Let me know what your predictions are. Should be a cracking weekend of footy. Thanks for watching.